Cyberpunk is a game set very far into the distant future, specifically the year 2077. Now, I personally think that the devs were very smart to release the game with this many glitches, because it adds to the overall futuristic technological setting this game has. Cyberpunk 2077 is filled with many weapons of different shapes and sizes for you to play with and have fun as you explore Night City. But clearly, I don't like to have fun, so I decided to go ahead and forbid myself from using these weapons. Can I beat Cyberpunk 2077 using only my fist? Well, let's find out. When it came to creating my character, I wanted someone who looked powerful, so I took inspiration from a couple of things. I gave him red eyes, since in anime, people who have distinct red eyes tend to be much more powerful than those who don't. I also gave him white hair, since it looks cool, and made sure that his hair covered his eye, because in anime, that's considered powerful. For my beard, I went with what closely resembled a Viking, since I wanted my character to really have some power, some real meat on his hands. It's a known fact that all bearded men who twist the bottom are powerful. I gave him this tattoo, which came with the cut here like Trevor, in order to add some insanity to the mix. To finish it all off, I made sure that I corrected his most important feature. Since I'll only be using my hands, I shot as many points as I could into body. The rest went into cool and reflexes. The game started, and I nearly scared myself to death by realizing what it is I've created. Now you see, I myself have played Mechanic Simulator for about 4 hours, so fixing my car was no issue. The issue was that I could not get this damn radio to work. I needed something with a little more juice. I drove out of the mechanic shop with a motor that sounded like my computer and made it to just what I was looking for. You see, this game requires something equivalent to the computers over at NASA in order to run it at a decent setting. Now, since I only spent about 25 million on my system instead of 50, I was only able to run the game at 1080p with 30 FPS. So if you see stuttering throughout this gameplay, just know that's why. Anyways, I made it to the top of the radio tower and got the information about where my client, aka Jackie Wells, would be. Arriving at the little farmhouse, Jackie was right there waiting for me. I was tasked to help him deliver his cargo across the border and into Night City. We loaded up the cargo and headed straight to the border. At the border, I handed in all the proper documentation and even bribed the officer to let us through. But there was something I did not like about this guy. Something was just a little off about him, and that something was that he was a dirty little tattletale. This led to me and Jackie being chased by Arasaka security. I now know that if I ever cross the border, a much safer option would be to bring a much larger bribe. The game provided me with a gun so I could kill these officers, but I could not damage anyone using bullets, so I decided to just shoot the truck a few times and dodge the bullets. Luckily, I didn't need a gun for this part, since one of the drivers crashed and engulfed into flames. The other 2 trucks Jackie was able to lose. After that commotion, we took a small little break, and I asked for my payment since I did indeed get Jackie across the border. He told me he didn't have my money, but he also said that if I came with him to Night City, then he would be able to give me more than what I asked for. All he needed to do was sell the package. This package is an iguana, and with my interest now piqued, I agreed, and me and him were now officially partners in crime. A little montage played, which showed all the things Jackie introduced me to. Me and him really developed a connection, a bond that's unbreakable, a bond so strong that it could be the last name of a man named James. With all of that fun out of the way, me and Jackie got a very important gig to do. We were ordered by Wakako Okada to find a woman named Sandra Dorset who went missing just a few days ago. Inside of this facility, I came across a very clearly dead woman who thankfully wasn't Sandra. I also came across another clearly not alive person who wasn't Sandra either. In order to successfully finish this challenge, I felt my best option was to go stealth. I rotated this man's head approximately 180 degrees and then proceeded to give this man a nice back massage. I saw the big jefe of all these scavengers and very gently knocked him out. I eventually came across Sandra and inserted my wire into her brain. It turns out that these scavengers blocked her system from alerting trauma. It's basically just a life alert. I pulled out whatever was blocking it and stabbed her with my inhaler in order to save her life. Trauma came by and took her away to safety. On our way back home, a couple of scavengers decided to try and get revenge. Luckily, I didn't kill anyone and they just ended up crashing. We lied to a police officer in order to get by, and just a few blocks down I witnessed a triple homicide. Jackie dropped me off home and I was finally able to get some rest. The next morning, I woke up to a virus. Now I only knew one person who could get rid of it, so it was time to take a visit to an old pal named Victor. I beat the oil out of this robot to the point where he actually folded and made it to Victor. He's a ripper doctor who's able to enhance my body any way I want it to be. Think of him as like a plastic surgeon. If I want a big booty, he'll give me that. If I want to enlarge other things of my body, he can also do that. I was already thick enough, so I gave myself better eyeballs to enhance my vision and hands with more grip to hold the weapons I can't use much better. I now owe Victor about a couple $1,000, so I needed to find some jobs to do. Thankfully, Jackie informed me that he was able to get us hired by Dex Deshawn, so I went ahead and met with him. Right off the bat, I didn't trust this man. Anyone with golden cybernetic replacements tells me that they think they are above everyone else. The job he had in mind was to steal a certain biochip that belongs to the Arasaka company. In order to do this, I needed to also steal something called the Flathead. It's a little robot that was stolen from the Militech by the Maelstrom Boys. Apparently, the big boss of the Maelstrom Boys was murdered by some guy named Royce. So now Royce is in charge, and it was time that I paid him a little visit for that robot. I guess the Flathead was not the only tech they stole from the convoy, since their base was just filled with advanced tech. I made it to a Maelstromer named Dum Dum, and he was acting a little disrespectful. He was acting all tough, all scary. He even had the balls to disrespect my boy Jackie, so I had enough and decided to start throwing hands. The deal was over before it even began. I dislocated Dum Dum's jaw and dropped him violently to the ground. I found the Flathead, and the game found a way to piss me off. Jackie was stuck in the only exit out of this room. I tried to move him using many different tactics, but I couldn't. I was doing this longer than I should have because I completely forgot you could just reload to the last save. With the save now reloaded, I carefully used stealth to my advantage. But as you will find out throughout this challenge, stealth and me don't really go together. No matter what, I somehow always find a way to get caught. It's a good thing that my right and left hooks are like getting hit by a bus and a train at the same time. Since I was a little boy, I would always practice my punching for this moment. At the age of 12, I could punch the concrete off of walls and the wood off of trees like it was nothing. My fists have become bone-crushing weapons that I apologetically have to use on all of my enemies. Right at the exit, I made it to Royce, who was in a mech suit. He was a little bit intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. However, my footwork was superb. Now his damage output was pretty impressive. I mean, he had some pretty cool weaponry with him, but honestly, he was way out of his league. I completely outmatched him. If you combine my hands with my dodging skills and my inhaler, then you got yourself a damage output unheard of in the universe of Cyberpunk. I eventually hit him hard with my hands and won the match. I gave him an extra punch just to make sure he was folded properly. I have to make sure all of my enemies are properly folded just like my laundry. Honestly, if I didn't kill Royce, then just the thought that a man with only his bare hands was able to beat his fully armored, heavy weaponized mech suit would have killed him anyways. With the Flathead now acquired and Royce brutally beaten, Jackie took off and it was time for me to meet Evelyn Parker. This blue-haired girl was in a club known as Guaranteed YouTube Demonetization. She tells me that the relic I was trying to steal was at a suite inside of Kopiki Plaza. The suite was occupied by none other than Yorinobu Arasaka, the son of Saburo Arasaka. Now Saburo Arasaka is basically a legend in Night City. He founded the Arasaka company and he's even a feudal lord. So his son is he's very important, very powerful, and extremely prestigious. I was really hoping that Evelyn had a good plan when it came to stealing this relic. She introduced me to a cool chick named Judy and gave me a brain dance which allowed me to relive Evelyn's memory of entering the suite with the relic inside. I got politely greeted by Adam Smasher, and I was able to scan all the security in the suite as well as locate where the relic would be. With this newly acquired information now in place, I vroom vroom my way back to Dex Deshawn. I showed him the flathead and we discussed the plan. Step 1. A luxury Uber drops us off in front of the hotel. Step 2. Jackie unloads the flathead, which is inside of the suspicious suitcase, and we make our way to the front of the hotel. Step 3. Me and Jackie use our fake identities in order to get past security. Step 4. Make it to our room and fire up the flathead. Step 5. Maneuver this flathead through different rooms around the hotel until I get to the netrunner. Step 6. Neutralize the netrunner using the flathead in order to prevent him from accessing the hotel's cameras and security system. Step 7. Wait for T-Bug to hack into the security of the hotel. And finally, Step 8. With the system now hacked by T-Bug, we make it into Yorinobu's suite. Since I got the brain dance from Evelyn, I was able to quickly figure out where the relic was. I let T-Bug hack the safe open, and with that, we obtained the relic. It was inside of a special suitcase that mimics the environment of a human body. As we were making our way out, it turns out that Yorinobu was about to come inside of the suite. We quickly hide inside of this wall and stay quiet. If Yorinobu being in this suite wasn't bad enough, then the fact that his legendary father walked in shortly after really does take the cake. Saburu's bodyguard Takamura was scanning this place for intruders, but Saburo told him to fuck off, so we were not detected. We had two very important men standing right in front of us. Well, just one, since Yorinobu decided to just snap and kill his own father. He put the hotel on lockdown and claimed that someone had poisoned Saburo. It was getting hot up in this grill, so me and Jackie decided it was time to dip. T-Bug was giving us instructions on how to leave, but the Arasaka cybersecurity found her and fried her brain, killing her instantly. Me and Jackie were on a ledge trying to escape when Arasaka security found us and started to blast us. We escaped thankfully, but the relic and Jackie were injured. With the integrity of the relic now dropping, Jackie had no choice but to store the chip inside of his mind in order to maintain the temperature it needed to be in. We now had to try and escape the hotel. Everything was going smoothly. I cracked many necks and backs without alerting anyone. However, to no one's surprise, I got caught. It was officially meat slapping time. The only problem I have with using my hands is that I run out of stamina pretty quickly. This means my punches start to slow down after a nice little combo. But luckily, before I started this mission, I upgraded my body a little bit so my damage output was not too bad. Arasaka decided to pull out their mech on me, but as you and me already know, mechs stand no match for me, so I took it down pretty easily. Me and Jackie got back in our Uber and headed back to Dex. The entire Arasaka security was after us, even Adam Savage, so of course the game decided to give me a weapon. Now I tested this out a lot, and I realized I cannot escape these drones without shooting at them since they will blow up the Uber. But since there are no actual people in these drones, I'm gonna say I didn't fail this challenge yet, even though I had to shoot them. With the drones now out of the way, my compadre Jackie was now looking too hot. He had his pistol jammed into his head, and he was succumbing to the gunshot wound he got earlier. Since he knew his time was running out, he asked me to hold on to the relic for him, and with that final request, my brother was now dead. I said my goodbyes to him and reached the destination. Dex had the nerve to think I'm the one who murdered Saburo. All he cared about was the fact that his neck was on the line. He asked for the relic, but I told him I had it in my head. He told me to go wash the blood off my face, and as soon as I came out of that bathroom, I got knocked out. I woke up only to see Dex betray me and end up killing me. With the death of Jackie and me, this video came to an end. Stick around for part 2 to find out how the rest of this challenge went. I usually do multiple parts to one challenge because I like to make nice little bite-sized videos for you people. Unless of course you want 20-minute long videos. Just let me know in the comments. Please subscribe and comment down below any challenges you want me to play, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.